Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I see some folks are still joining and getting connected to audio. Give everyone a minute or so. All right, so thank you for joining another session in our International Love Data Week series. We're here today with Arielle Markiewicz and Theresa Diemer from the Office of Institutional Research Effectiveness and Planning, and they're going to talk to us a little bit about data governance. If you have any questions during the session, please feel free to put them in the chat. And without further ado, I will turn it over to our presenters.
Great, thanks, Krista. Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about data governance, the key to protecting the things you love. Just a little background. Hold on, sorry, technical difficulties already. Okay, here we go. I'm Theresa Diemer, as she said, the Assistant Director for Data Governance and Management. Just a little brief history. We started in 2016 after the Project 50 Forward Steering Committee's initiative to improve Stony Brook's data infrastructure. So they saw it as like a need, as something we needed to do. We began meeting in the spring of 2017 with 11 members, and our original scope was limited just to PeopleSoft and Data Warehouse, just because we figured start small and then build from there. And it was volunteers from across the university. We didn't have anyone permanent until 2 years ago, and now we have Arielle.
Hi. So, Arielle Markiewicz, the business analyst for data governance. And you can visit us at our newer website, stonybrook.edu/data governance. It's a project that Theresa and I specifically worked on building out. Or email us too.
So just to give everybody like a starting ground, I'm just going to read this. This will be the only slide I read. Data governance, what data governance is, just because I think everybody should have a strong basis. I think people think they know what it is, but sometimes it's a little bit more nuanced. So data governance refers to a set of policies, processes, roles, and standards established within an organization to ensure the quality, security, accuracy, and usability of data throughout its life cycle, effectively managing data access, usage, and compliance with relevant regulations. So that being said, it's essentially managing how data is handled and used within the organization to be able to make informed decisions based on reliable information, which I'm sure we all can appreciate.
The foundation of data governance, specifically for a council, so you start off with designating a decision-making body, and from there it's able to establish expectations, maintain data quality, formalize behaviors, and improve user literacy and data usage. And then following this, we then have the shared values, such as data assets. This is systems and information that contains university data. We then have data stewardship, and we will go into later data stewards, data custodians, and trustees, the roles and responsibilities within an organization, such as a council. Data quality, highly important, making sure data is clean, accurate, and complete. And data governance then ultimately helps in establishing privacy and confidentiality. So because of data governance then, the university is able to comply with regulations and laws such as FERPA. Documentation allows for the university to also be transparent about statistics, stats, such as enrollment, student enrollment, and faculty. Also, because of data governance, there's consistency for data elements, data dictionaries, defining fields across the board consistently so that data analysts are then able to understand the same fields and talk about data across the board in the same way. And then responsibilities for cross-functional data-related processes and controls are defined. And then finally, documentation and verification of data, metadata, and the tracking of changes are promoted.
So this is our structure here at Stony Brook. It all rolls up to the VP Council, and they are supported by the executive sponsors. Our current executive sponsors are Braden in his role as Vice President for Educational Institutional Effectiveness, and Simeon as Vice President for Information Technology and Chief Information Officer. So it's split between like the data and the IT, which is a good mix because it gets everybody on board. And they set like high level priorities and direction, and they also report up to the VP Council about what's going on. Then under that is our Data Governance Council, which is members from each of the VP area, either the VPs themselves or a representative that they send. They recommend and implement institutional policies for data governance and set specific projects to work on. So we usually in the beginning of the year, brainstorm the beginning of the academic year, brainstorm what we're going to work on for the year and kind of set priorities that way. Currently, we worked on a communication campaign, which built the data governance website that you'll see. And we also want to get our name out there more, which is why we're doing this today. We've also done recently a data disposition where we worked on getting rid of some older data and like putting some procedures in place where we can get rid of data that we no longer need. So we did this with some financial aid data for people that never even came here. So just kind of trying to be proactive. And also we're currently working on guidelines for the appropriate use of data, which comes down to when you have access to data, how you handle it and things that you shouldn't do. So those are just kind of some of our like projects that we worked on recently. And then under the Data Governance Council are data stewards. They develop, maintain, and manage policies and procedures for the data assets. And we also look to them to give us feedback on anything that needs attention or that needs to be worked on. And data custodians, which generally in our organization are the same as the data stewards, are the people that you'll talk to about getting access. So they implement and enforce security and access rules and policies, and they grant and remove access to specific data assets. All for the data user, which analyze, access, and use data. And our goal is that they'll use high quality, accurate data and use it correctly within the established parameters. So that's kind of the structure. These are all the areas that are represented on the council. So it's each of the VP areas. And then here are the current council members. So if you ever like need to reach out about anything, any one of us will be fine. Currently the Kimberlyn is the chair and Diane Bello is the co-chair. And then this is just our website. So I'll just go to this quick and give you a little, can you see the website? Good. So this is our website that Arielle worked on creating. Before that, we were housed under the IR website, but it was really just like lists of our agenda and minutes, which are here. So we have the council members, some agenda and minutes and annual reports if you ever want to read about it. But Arielle did a good job of creating like a little recap, which is also here about things that we've worked on in the year. So that was 23, 24. So that was just like a little recap for you. And then we want to show you, hold on really quick. Report standards. Oh, okay, so this is also on the website, which I'll go to. This is something we worked on early on in the data governance initiative, but it basically sets report standards for anybody that sends out data to anybody else, because a lot of times you'll just get a spreadsheet with a bunch of data. So, or even you might be expecting it and you know what it is, but then you forward it on and then the next person has to interpret it. So this is just some standards that the council came up with so that when you send out a report to anyone or create a report of any kind, even if it's just a spreadsheet, you should have like all of these things. So these are required, like a title, a date, who prepared it, what source it came from. If you have a chart, any kind of row and label headers, and then any kind of like terminology that you think is needed, plus page numbers. And then these are just some recommended things that you should have. So this is just kind of an example of some of the stuff that we do, just like to try to help improve data and data usage across the university. Now this was supposed to be some of our data assets, but I put this into AI and I got this jumble of stuff. Some of them, like you'll see Brightspace is an asset, but then you'll see some other ones that aren't even English. But if you did want to see a list of our data assets, actually, before we go into this, I'll actually tell you what data assets are. So data assets are information-based resources comprised of university data, including repositories, systems, and services. So long story short, it is stuff like Brightspace and file shares that store information, but it's not something like Photoshop or Zoom where you just use it as a tool, because that doesn't have university data stored within it. Unless we are storing it in Zoom, but I don't think we are. I think the transcripts go somewhere else. So that's like kind of what an asset is. It basically has our information in it. And these are some of our assets, but we've gone through some surveys where we have reached out and we created a list of the data assets. So this is also on the website under data assets. You could go in, anybody with a net ID and password can go in and see all the different data assets we have with who the steward is and the trustee, which is the high level area that's responsible for it, with a brief description. So these are all the ones we currently know about. We have close to 100 that we know about, but I'm sure there's other ones. So if you're working with a smaller asset, feel free, please reach out to us and let us know, and we'll add it to the inventory. And beyond what's here, we also store stuff like the sensitivity level, the how like reporting is done, and some other criteria about the asset. And this really comes in handy when we want to do initiatives, like when they reached out about each asset had to have a preferred name and gender in it. We were able to use this inventory to reach out to the stewards and find out who was doing it and who needed help. And we started the new policy on data and data access requires each asset to have data access management procedures. So we use this list to reach out and work with data stewards to get that implemented. So again, a little plug, if you have a resource, please go to this page, and you can even fill out this form or email either of us and let us know about your asset so that we can add it to the list. Let's see, this was just a slide of that, and then we'll go to the cookbook. This is also on the website. We have the data cookbook. Arielle, you good?
Yeah, just minimize.
Did I minimize this? Sorry.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so for data cookbook and in general data definitions that help with data quality. So for fields, data definitions helps to maintain across the board consistent meaning, and then it helps with communication. And then we have data cookbook, because the more that data grows, the more that we need help understanding also what the fields we're looking at mean, especially after transformation. So Data Cookbook helps. It's a metadata management tool. It's a repository for data definitions and a lot of other metadata that we'll also see. And it also integrates into reporting and analytic tools such as Tableau. And all you need for this as well is your net ID. So let's see a page.
You want to go in it?
Yeah.
Or you want to go to the page?
So if we do at the top, well, we can see that we have 469 definitions, and then also we have 81 specs. So 81 specs means that we have created reports or specs in Data Cookbook that are actually related to Tableau dashboards. So we're able to select and create a spec, which then you can list out and choose all of the fields that you want to then have definitions for people to then refer to in your Tableau dashboards and see what are these potentially confusing fields, what do they actually mean? So if we then go into let's look up academic plan. And so then we can see academic plan, plan type, primary plan indicator. This is all the mentions of academic plan. It could be separate or it could even be tagging the actual definition itself.
Want to go in it?
Yep. And then this is a page, an actual field, academic plan. So we have the definition, the area, synonyms, related specs. We'll also go in more in detail on everything, but here's a general view of a full definition and field page.
Okay.
So for the full page, we have at the top the field name. We then have below it the definition. You can have multiple versions. Nothing is ever fully set in stone. And then we have on the right a functional area. There's student records tags, but this could be anything like registration, class schedule, student accounts, admissions. We also have synonyms. So this is term. It could be semester, academic term, and then also related specs. This is where all of the, in our case, these are Tableau dashboards that are referencing this definition and pulling it in, but it could be potentially even Power BI or SBU reporting. And then we have also all of the definitions and related definitions. This is when academic term is getting referenced. So we can actually see in the definition, term code is underlined and in blue. This is how you would tag it, and then you're just able to hover over it. You can see the actual definition, or you can click in and you can see a full other page. And then below that, we have in reference data, this is being pulled in the metadata. We get the code with the description for this field. And then right below that in technical definition, we have the SQL code or the source of where this field is coming from.
Okay. So some of the things we're looking towards in the future are data governance and AI. Of course, that's a hot topic. So we've had a bunch of conversations about that, about how data governance intersects with data protection and data security. And then finding the balance between data governance and efficiency. We don't want to like burden everybody with all this stuff that isn't necessary. So it's important to find the balance. And we also want to increase the knowledge of data governance across the university to show how it could benefit all of us. And that's kind of the direction we're heading. At this point, that's it for us. Does anybody have any questions? We could go out of this. Oh, also, here's our website, stonybrook.edu/data governance. That's a lot of the stuff that we showed you today is on the website. And also, if you ever want to email us, it's datagovernance@stonybrook.edu. So let me stop sharing.
Great. I did get a message in the chat. Someone's asking if we have a database, do we need to have that information populated?
What's the chat? If you have a database,
It's
like
me.
a database that stores institutional data in it.
Yeah, it's me. My Wi-Fi is not working well where I am, so I can't turn on my video.
No worries.
But we have a database. We did go through that whole questionnaire thing, and we are under Rob, and he got all of the information he needed to get for a database we use for tracking all the intellectual property at Stony Brook.
Mhm.
But I don't recall, I had documentation myself, but I never filled anything out to get it into that system. I didn't know if it was necessary. It's not something widely used by all of Stony Brook. It's used specifically in our small department. And then if people want to know metrics or something, we'll send them counts or metrics based upon what they request. So maybe that's why it doesn't need to be on there, but I just wanted to make
No, we
sure.
definitely want to include it because, like I said, a lot of times it's not about us needing to use it so much as just knowing that we have it and then reaching out if we need to let you know about anything. So I'll definitely reach out to you and we'll see about getting it. It's really just what it is, what it has in it, nothing, it won't store any information about it. But yeah, anything like that, we definitely want to know about it.
And the other thing I was interested in, but I think I misunderstood what the goal of this meeting was. So quite often with our database, we have to get information from Report Center. And then we manually go in and we put it into our system. So I was hoping, I know Intium has a platform. I don't know a lot about all of the details of it. I would have to be on whatever the project to see if they could do it. But just basically, I have a person in my office and she does a bunch of other work. But what she'll have to do every day is she goes on to Report Center to say, okay, for any incoming money, did the cash get applied? Then she'd look to see, did the budget get increased? Then if we had any budget transfers, she looks to see if they're processed. If we had any bills paid through Wolfmart, she looks to see if those are paid. And if we had any bills paid to inventors for their royalty share, she looks to see if those are paid. And she goes in and she grabs various pieces of information from Report Center into our database. So if ever we need to do some kind of cross-reference report or something, we have that information. But it's time consuming. She calls it her little morning thing. So
yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be something that data governance covers because it's more about implementing high level policies and stuff, but that would be something that you probably could address. I'm not sure. I don't know much about Report Center, where it comes from.
Only from the perspective that I guess where we would put where our Report Center gets its information from Oracle. And it's on the Research Foundation side. So I don't know if all of that feeds in to you guys, but you can say, okay, everything that's in the AR number corresponds to where we put it in our PR number, or you can, if you have the definitions, you can match them up.
Yeah, I definitely work with IT and see if there's anything they could do for you, but it wouldn't really fall.
No, yeah, just like you said before, you guys prioritize what your projects are in the beginning of the year. We do the same, and never seems to make it up there.
I got another question in the chat. Is there a workshop or guidance on how to onboard small working team of 10 members to best practices in data governance?
No, but that is a good idea. I know we've spoken about creating almost like a intro video or something like that. So we are looking into stuff like that, but right now we don't have anything. But good idea. You else have any questions? We got like 5 minutes. No. Well, you know where we are. You know how to reach us. Hopefully it was informative.
All right, thank you so
all.
much to our presenters, Theresa and Arielle. Appreciate this presentation. Thank you all for coming. If you missed any of our Love Data Week sessions, the recordings and slides are posted to our website. So that's stonybrook.edu/LDW25. And please feel free to sign up for the rest of our sessions. We actually have one with Provost Lejoie coming up at 2 o'clock today. So we hope to see you there. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.